The original concept was, I kind of feel like I'm like a really big fan and student of everything that's been going on, especially with like UK music and UK urban music. You know, everybody getting signed was like such an incredible and new thing for me. But the one thing I found was that there wasn't any real like blueprint or direction as to how to kind of like where to go after that. It was almost like, okay, everyone's come from the underground and now you've got this opportunity to sell your music to the masses, but then what? Or how do you do it, or what do you make? So, you know, it seems like everybody had like a really great, you know, first album, but when it got to the second one, people started to struggle, or, you know, things just didn't really go as smooth as the first one. I was really thinking about that, as you can imagine, especially after the first album did really well. So I just wanted to make something that, you know, one was really true to myself, one kind of pushed myself a little bit more, you know, in terms of lyrics, in terms of sound. And I also wanted to make something that was almost like, you know, based on my experiences, like a blueprint of how to kind of make that transition, fingers crossed, past that second album. I feel like I just wanted to make something that was the perfect balance between, you know, the genre of music which I came from, but the pop side of things which I was exposed to. And so that was basically the concept for the album, and that was the kind of basis of everything and what I based kind of every song around. I started making the album towards the end of 2011. I released Discovery, which is the first album, in America in May of 2011. So I remember being there a lot for like promo. And then towards the end of it, we were in LA and we started making the record. And I just started putting ideas together. I was really all about everything kind of being authentic and true to the song. So if I was gonna make something that was trappy, it sounded like it would fit in a trap environment. If I was gonna make something that was rocky or grimy or hip hop, everything would kind of be very authentic. So, you know, finding the producers that could help me do that wasn't gonna be like an easy process. One or two things only came out from those sessions, if I'm being honest. And then the rest of it kind of just happened in England, and, you know, all throughout 2012. We had kind of some politics with the label as well. So basically the label I was signed to got sold. So that kind of meant that I could release music, but I could only release music here. And I'd got to the stage of my career where I was releasing music in loads of different territories. So that would have kind of been a disadvantage to myself if I just released my album here. So that kind of put things on hold for me. So I used that opportunity to just record more and more and more. We have Labyrinth, we have Zane Lowe, we have Diplo, we have Tom Rowlands from the Chemical Brothers, we have Naughty Boy, we have Ishi, Pharrell's got something on there. I think that's pretty much it. And then collaboration-wise, we have like Paloma Faith, Emeli Sandé, Laura and Vula, Big Sean, 2 Chainz, Dizzee Rascal. I think that might be it. I feel like I've just matured. I think I now know how to talk about things in more detail. I think I've gone through a few more real experiences where I can paint a few more vivid pictures, as opposed to the first album where, you know, I was more so talking about experiences that I'd been around or that other people around me had experienced, and there was almost like a formula. Okay, so I need to make a girl song now, I need to make this song. It was a lot more unorthodox. So that's what you're probably gonna get. Probably a little bit more development in sound. For me, it's all about like long-lasting songs. There's a whole bunch of great trendy music that's going around right now, which is what it kind of feels like the music industry is at the minute. So there's like a few really big records on there, like with Emeli Sandé, we've got a song together called A Heart Can Save the World, and that's like really, really kind of big. And I'm just talking about the way I see things as well, and just the fact that we all kind of need to just come together as people, you know, maybe not necessarily everybody, but we're stronger in numbers, you know, and the scene I've come from, you know, it's almost like crabs in a barrel sometimes. And I just try to apply that to the mass. So that's what that one's about. And then Hero, that's with Laura and Vula, who I really, really love. That one's just about the fact that like everybody needs a hero and somebody to aspire to and someone to look up to. Without role models and without heroes, we're kind of directionless. Like if there wasn't a Jay-Z or a Kanye or a Dizzee Rascal, I wouldn't probably know what to do. Do you get what I mean? So that's what that one's about. So there's like a whole bunch of big songs. And then there's obviously, naturally, you know me, I'm a fun guy. There's a whole bunch of fun songs, energetic songs. The one with Dizzee, Dizzee like kills it. Old school Dizzee, loads of lyrics and rapping. And that one is just, you know, fun. It's called Mosh Pit. It's just exciting. So there's a good balance of things. And I think it took a while because I was just trying to get that right as well. I'd never ever wanted to isolate the fans of the first album. I wanted to make sure that just because I was living this incredible life, I didn't isolate myself too much from all the people that bought my record before. And I feel like that's what Trampoline was for me. It was almost like a reintroduction of like, okay, hey, it's Tinie again, I'm back everyone. But at the same time, it was almost kind of the link between the first album, which is kind of a bit more young and playful, and then into the second one, if that makes sense. The recording of the album was like a very frustrating process in the fact that I just wanted everything to just be better than the last album. I was very meticulous and I was very anal, and you know, my sound engineer did not help in that sense. Like, he's just as meticulous as I am. So we tried to do the whole swanky thing. We tried to do like a week in our beef for recording. We tried to do a week in the English countryside recording. Like, none of it worked. And that was really frustrating. Revocaling a lot of songs. I made sure like every song I recorded, I think had been revocaled time and time again. But I think that's just when you're learning from the great people, you know, like when you're talking to people like Chris Martin and he's like, you know, I'm just going back in to revocal a song. And I'm like, why do you need to revocal it? It's like, because it could be better. So you go away thinking, all right, let me just revocal something. And then the funniest thing was sometimes you'd revocal something so much and then you'd go back and listen to like the third or second time you did it, and that would be the one. So it's almost like I got myself into like a paranoid kind of place, and that wasn't really good. But apart from that,